All right, so Adam, it's good to finally meet you in person.
Yeah, you as well, man.
Thank you so much for being part of this. 614 Startups started really focused on Columbus. But after meeting with Zell and doing an interview with him and him introducing me to Jason, and then Jason, I know you guys are in business together as well, saying, hey, if you come to Bellefontaine, you have to go to Brewfontaine. And I've only been here a couple minutes, and I can see why. You guys have done a tremendous job with this project. I'm sure there are big things in your future. So just wanted to chat with you while we had a few drinks, you got something to eat, and pick your brain about business.
Yeah, sounds great. Thanks for coming to town.
Thank you. So of all the opportunities you could have done, Bellefontaine is wide open. Why beer? Why a tap room? Why a restaurant?
Yeah, I get asked that a lot. And actually, speaking of Jason, I remember the day when I'm like, he's like, what are your dreams and goals and aspirations? I'm like, I'd love to own a craft beer bar. And at that time, I didn't want anything to do with food. He's like, man, most of those fail in the first year, 2 years, right? So, but my wife and I moved here about 7 years ago, here to Bellefontaine, and it was in 600 downtown. It was just opening. So, don't know if you got a tour of that facility or not, but world-class pizza. Brittany's been on the Food Network, met President Trump last week, which was super cool, and we were lacking craft beer. So making the drive to Columbus every weekend, every other weekend, we'd see a lot of Bellefontaine people there, and we're like, we got to do this ourselves. And so met two partners, Brian and Jeremy. We started for a year and a half of planning. You know how it is, trying to launch a business. They'd come over. One was a surveyor, one was climbing in chimneys. They'd stop over after work. My wife would cook a meal, and we'd just be brainstorming and writing down ideas and squashing bad ones and refining the model.
How'd you know?
We were homebrewing together. So I heard these guys, I was interested in homebrewing, and they were doing some homebrewing, and started hanging out, talking beer, talking music, going to concerts, visiting establishments, just doing some research and development, right? Mm-hmm. And, the rest, we connected with Jason Duff and found a building, and that's where we're sitting here today. And it's just amazing to kind of look at how far we've come.
I'm guessing it didn't look like this when you first looked at it.
No.
So what was it about what you saw that you said, this is where I want my tap room to go? What were the things that on the surface you might not have been able to see, or the untrained eye? What did you see that wanted you to move into this building?
Well, first of all, it had this amazing subway tile, glazed subway tile on the walls. Reminded you of going back to grade school, where how a lot of the old schools were built. And I think some of the material was actually from one of the schools here locally that was built that had leftover materials. And it was really dirty at the time, but man, it had this glaze on it, and it cleaned up so nice in what you see in our tap room today. And didn't have a floor. We literally had bricks, and we were stepping down and trying not to fall, and everyone's kind of grabbing one another and then just staring up at the roof that was caving in at the same time. So I forget how long the construction process was, but it's been amazing to see it all come to life,
The great thing about these old buildings is that they were well built.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they're falling apart, the structure itself always, no matter how bad it looks, seems to hold up over time. Is that what you found when you guys moved into
it? It had good bones. Okay. That's what we look at in a lot of the buildings that for various projects is, you're right, man. Like this one on the corner here, the Canby building, if you got to walk by that, I mean, the bones are just solid. And so it makes the renovations go a lot smoother.
Jason said that you guys really stay local with the folks that renovate these buildings. So what is that from? He was saying, it's the older generation that are working on these buildings. Is there a skill set that's just kind of groomed about restoring old buildings? Because no matter what the renovation is, what I notice is it keeps its character. Yeah. So how did you guys manage that? Talk about the craftsmanship that remains in this community.
We've got some skilled trades for sure. One Doug Fleshman in particular, the Canby building on the corner, as an example, tuck pointed every single brick on that building, and it's amazing transformation. We take great pride in the work, restoring the windows, keeping a lot of those historic elements in the structures, but it does, between you and I, fear me for the future generations that a lot of those, that craftsmanship, a lot of the guys that are doing that are older, and so I see it as a big opportunity for the younger generation. Skilled trades, you're starting to hear a lot more and more about it, whereas when I was going to school, it was like 4-year degree. We definitely need more of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, in my mind, I imagine owning a tap room as like, if I could, it's either like owning a $1 billion business or owning a beer tap room for me. It would be a dream job, but I'm sure it's not all fun and games. No, what is it like owning your own restaurant? What are some of the challenges, and then what are some of the pros? What are some of the things that you enjoy the most?
Challenges like any business, managing your staff. They're your best asset, but people are difficult, partners are difficult. There's difficult conversations, there's decisions to be made, just like in any other business. You just happen to be selling beer and wine and spirits and sandwiches, right? What was the follow-up to? How did you?
Well, so you counted some of the challenges, but what are some of the joys of running a business like this?
So the joys are when definitely the guys leaving right there and saying goodbye, saying hello. A lot of regulars, a lot of friendly people in the community that are so supportive of us. We do a lot of events, beer dinners, beer pairings, wine club, different live music, and putting those on and seeing people show up and seeing people have a good time. Literally, I think I had an aha about a year ago when I was, and I'm kind of doing the one marketing it all behind the scenes, right? And so I want everything actually then to be there and to see us pull it off with our staff, with all the tickets sold and the event going off without a hitch. Just really sit back and be like, wow, I think my calling in life may have been to help other people really enjoy themselves.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So craft beer, craft beer is very, if people like craft beer, I don't know the exact reason why they might like it or not. Maybe it just doesn't taste like your domestic stuff, right?
Right.
But you also have the potential to turn into like a wine snob. So we're going to do a down-home, real man's guide to craft beer. None of this foo-foo stuff, right? So I don't know what the hell an IPA is. What does that even mean?
IPA is an India Pale Ale, super hoppy. There's a whole story behind it. This could be a 2-hour conversation in itself. But
yes.
I just want to say,
because I think people order stuff. It's like you go to the restaurant and you're like, give me your best Merlot.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're talking about, right?
Well, some do, but majority don't.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. So I need the real dude's guide to ordering an IPA.
To ordering an IPA?
Yes. What is it first, what to look for, and how do you know you're making the best decision?
Here's our soups, guys. The rest will be right up.
Awesome. Well, it's going to be super, super bitter. You can get an IPA nowadays anywhere. It's the most popular style that is grown since.
Is it a bandwagon thing, or is it genuine people really are enjoying IPAs?
I think they're really enjoying it. I myself became hopped out after a little while, drinking so many of them. Now I'm on the other end of the spectrum, drinking sours. Because, man, they are just super bitter in your face. Do you like them yourself personally? No, you don't like them. So when I first drank one, I'm like, man, this tastes like battery acid almost. It's like, how do people drink this? But it was Founder's Two Hearted Ale that actually was the beer that was like, okay, I'm kind of getting it, and kind of work your way into it, just like you would with a sweet wine and then drinking a big bold Napa cab. Starting out here and getting there, it's the same thing. Your palate changes and you learn to appreciate. But nowadays there are so many different styles of beer, and now there's different infusions that people are doing. Or even infusion THC into beers now out west, and I don't know how long that trend's going to stay, but they're doing everything with them. So it just tells you it's ever changing, and it's hard to keep up with it. My partner Jeremy does all of our beer ordering, and he's been doing a great job of making sure we have something on at all times that can match everyone's style or preference.
Understood.
Yeah.
So, lesson number one, India Pale Ale is what an IPA is.
Yes.
When you go for an IPA, you're going for bitter, super hoppy, right?
Yep.
It's going to be in your face, and that's the flavor
and usually
profile.
a great nose on it. Yeah.
Right. And what do you mean by a nose?
Like the great smell of it, and I don't want to act like, I'm,
the connoisseur.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they do smell really, really good, and best drink fresh. That's where, since I've kind of been getting IPA'd out, I've got a lot in the fridge.
Sirloin cheesesteak.
Thank you.
For you? Chicken. Extra napkins for everybody.
Thank
You
you.
were kidding about the thickness on that.
I told you.
Big bologna.
Yes. I told you.
There you go, guys. Whoa. I thought that was the bottom bun. That's the bologna.
Yeah.
That's not the bottom bun. What you see is not the bottom bun.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, it's there. It's there. Very nice.
So,
But
what do you order with an IPA? So, like food-wise, right? If you're pairing an IPA, since it's so
That's a
intense,
tough question.
what do you clear your palate with so that you can enjoy each and every sip of your IPA? Or drinking IPA doesn't matter, you just got to pound it back.
yeah, usually they're high alcohol.
Okay.
Then you get into double IPAs, triple IPAs, or what we have on today. Dogfish Head 120-minute IPA, which is 18%. So you drink a couple of those, and you're going to definitely feel something.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So, we also have meads. What is a mead? I have no idea.
Yeah, mead is a honey wine. Brothers Drake in Columbus is actually mead on as a permanent handle. It's kind of one of the only permanent handles we have, meaning we always have a Brothers Drake mead on at all times. We went down and toured with those folks the same day we were in town for Wolf's Ridge, and they are they're doing some awesome meads. Have you been to that facility?
No, not yet.
But I don't know much about the process other than that. They are high in alcohol content, and our mead drinkers are consistently our mead drinkers. There's people that come in and that's all they order.
All right, so it's more honey.
It's in the wine category.
Okay, it's more in the wine category. So in addition to honey, what else goes into creating a mead?
See, this is where questions like this I'm not going to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But what I'm
Just being
saying
honest, like
Yeah.
Jeremy and them would know that.
you gotta go get Jeremy then.
Yeah. Actually, he's like, do I need to be there? He's like, I need to clean up my yard and doing all this stuff for spring. I'm like, I think I can handle it. I'm not sure what they're going to ask me though.
No problem. But I'm asking questions like this because I want our audience to understand that they don't need to be intimidated when they don't know something.
Got it.
If you walk into a tap room, part of
Yeah.
the experience is talking to the staff.
Yeah.
Is learning about different beers to try. What is an IPA? What is a mead? What is a fruit beer?
Yeah.
What is this? What goes well with this? There's no reason to feel like you already need to know
You're right.
what you're going to order when you go in because
You're right.
that's all part of the experience.
And our staff, if you come in and you order a Bud Light, they're going to first say, would you like to try this? They're going to point you towards a lager or a Pilsner or something light, comparable. Now, half might take you up on that, sample, get their Bud Light. The other half is probably going to say, no way, give me my Bud Light now, right? But if you don't know and you just want to try, that's why we have those little samples. If you just want to ask, I mean, that's why the staff's here. I mean, they're going to describe the beer for you. They're going to let you try it and experience it and not commit to buying a whole pint unless we know for sure that you're going to like it. Mm-hmm.
So what we're having here, menu-wise, classic bar food to me. Sandwiches. You have salads. Why?
A lot of people love our salads. They're delicious.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so salads are definitely important.
Yeah.
But bar food, this is the kind of food I like to eat when I get beer.
Yeah, and I will say that we're different in that we have no deep fryer back there at all.
Okay.
So when you say bar food, I typically think French fries, hamburgers, pizza, chicken wings. We have none of that. So we're unique sandwiches, salads, soups, wraps, some great starters, but everything we feel, like you said, is great to experience with a nice beer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So if we have beer lovers in and around the area who are watching this video, I encourage you to stop by the Brewfontaine. Am I saying that right?
Brewfontaine.
Brewfontaine in Bellefontaine, Ohio. Ask for Adam. If he's here, I'm sure he's going to show you some love. He's going to show you the ropes. Thank you for tuning in to the 614 Startups, Adam. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
All right. Peace.